Welcome back to another episode of That Stupid Podcast. A little mini episode, if you will.
We are mini-soding it now.
I mean, it's still That Stupid Podcast, but it's Wildcard Wednesday.
Wildcard Wednesday.
And this is Wildcard Wednesday, all about Apple news and rumors.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is the first one of these we've done.
It is the first one. It's May 22nd, 2014, and right now, we're going to talk iOS 8 for just a quick second.
I don't want it. I'm over it. I just got into 7. I mean, I just got it all down pat. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I know. The good news about iOS 8 is from a visual cue, it is mostly going to look like iOS 7.
Yeah, except it looks like it's got all hopped up on Easter eggs.
It did get hopped up on Easter eggs. One of the rumors that is not yet completely confirmed, so we'll file this under Apple rumors, if you will, is that iOS is going to get split screening. And this has a lot to do with the Microsoft Surface advertisements that are targeted against Apple. Now, I own a Surface. I have a Surface RT. It's a piece of crap.
You use it so much.
I know.
I've seen you. No, I've never seen him use it. I see it downstairs in the pile of things.
It's in the pile of things. It was funny because he was walking through my house one day. He's like, what the hell is all this? It's like an HP laptop and a Surface and other stuff that I don't use anymore.
It is a pile of stuff.
So here's the deal. As someone who has Windows 8 on his machine, which can do the split screening that the RT does, it's actually the same engine, and having an RT, it ain't that amazing.
Nope.
It really isn't. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't circumstances where I wouldn't want some kind of multitasking that's a little bit better than iOS 7 does, and I'll give you an example. If I'm in, say, one of my favorite games, Simpsons Tapped Out, if you multitask out of that game, the game shuts down, and you have to re-log in, and it takes a few minutes.
Okay, I'll give you that. Right? If I can run Hearthstone and my Family Guy town, because if you exit out of Hearthstone...
Family Guy's the same way, I'm bet, too.
Here's the thing. If you exit out of Hearthstone at any point in time... Yeah, you're done.
Yeah, you're done.
I can't check Facebook. I can't check anything. That's why I keep my phone,
So that does excite me a little bit if they do it right. But please, my thing is, don't
do it right.
Well, and don't make this don't make it a big deal, because at the end of the day, even though those are niceties to have,
they're not necessary.
It really is not that big of a deal. I don't miss
just a function.
It. Having had a tablet that multitasks, having one that technically doesn't in the same way, it doesn't bother me. I still love the shit out of my iPad.
Absolutely, and I'll never. I'm sorry, Apple makes perfect mobile products. I'm set for life.
The Surface is going to get better, I think.
I think it will, but I don't think it's going to get to that point in 10 years.
Well, I'll give him a little quicker timeline than that, but my blood does run blue.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
When you cut me. I'm a Microsoft whore. I can help it.
Okay.
This is not an Apple rumor, but moving right along a little bit. Apple and Motorola have decided to truce, to throw the white flag and say, the peace lilies are out. We love you. We're not going to sue you anymore. All the patent disputes between Apple and Motorola. And now you might be going, who the hell?
Well, there
are patent disputes.
Not only that, should we give a little history on how Apple and Motorola used to be straight up buddy-buddy with each other back in the 90s?
Well, let's see. All the PowerPC processors were built by
Motorola.
There you go. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
they were the reason.
Yeah, they have a long history.
Those Motorola chips were the reason that people were buying Apple products back in the 90s over the old Intel processors that were. Yep. I hate to say this Intel because I'm more of an AMD guy anyways, but
I go back and forth.
In my opinion, the old Motorola chips at the time, those PowerPC chips, were better than the Intel chips. They just were, in my opinion.
At the time, they were. They're crap now.
Yeah, they're absolutely garbage now.
But they're no more lawsuits.
Nope.
Now Apple and Samsung haven't made that agreement necessarily.
They're still knife in the back on all that.
Every day there's a new development in that settlement. Apple wins $1 billion, then Samsung wins $120 million, and then Apple loses $1 billion, and so
it's like playing Monopoly with negative zone. No one wins. You just spend a lot of time swapping money with each other.
Speaking of patents, and this isn't an Apple rumor, but just patents in this country, I'm just gonna.
The patent office is jacked up, especially with the new way we do it, right?
Yeah, it's really bad.
Go ahead.
I'm a photographer. So if you follow me at all, and I actually posted this on our That Stupid Podcast page too.
On the page. Like us on Facebook.
Amazon.com. And I love you, Amazon. I really do. I love your Prime shipping. I love your Kindle library.
I want you to deliver me things in tiny robot helicopters.
I'm crossing my hands. Listen.
Serious business look.
Amazon.com patented photography against a white background this week.
They patented photography on a... Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Isn't that how everybody takes pictures?
Yeah. I can't even begin to describe it. So just go check that out. I'm going to go back to Apple News, but since we were talking about patents, I wanted to throw it out there because I have utter disgust at the moment at Amazon.
Maybe it's a thing and they're just doing it to show how bad the patent is, or
no. This is Amazon being Amazon.
Oh God!
But they did. They totally secured that.
No,
I know.
So the big thing I think that we want to discuss is the obvious thing that we want to discuss. It's a thing that people have probably already heard about out there. Or have you?
Well, I can't imagine what you mean.
Well, size matters.
Size does matter. And, of course, everybody knows we're Apple fanboys. I mean, we both have our iPhone 5S's here, right? Now, I love my iPhone 5S. I really do. I like the fingerprint scanner. It's a good piece of hardware. It's solid. My only complaint, it was really a complaint I had with the 5, not the 5S, because it was just an upgrade, was what they're going to make the screen bigger, and they made it a set of icons higher. And I was like, really, Apple? Really? So you may know that the iPhone 5S is a replacement, the iPhone 6, or whatever the hell they're going to call it, because technically that's not a confirmed name yet.
Nope. The number thing could change.
I have a real strong feeling, by the way, you're going to see iPhone Air and iPhone Mini names. I'm going to go ahead and call those right now.
Because you're going to have the bigger versions. So
I'm going to call those names. I'm going to call them right now.
Thinking you're going to get phallics. Hello?
Well, yours
Apple
is
calling.
Yours
we
is
have
a
bigger
little,
devices.
I mean, it's more this size and not quite this big. So the 4.7-inch screen, which is not just taller than the iPhone 5S, but is actually wider. It's more comparable to the Galaxy 5S or S5 or whatever the hell it's called. The Galaxy 5 is a great, and by the way, it's a great little phone, except for the fingerprint scanner is a piece of crap and the camera doesn't work. But whatever.
Terrible.
It really is. I'm sorry.
It's terrible. Charles Barkley of the week is terrible.
I have an S3 and I don't really like the 5. I gotta be honest with you. But the 4.7 isn't the big news. The big news is when potentially the 4.7 is going to come out,
there will be another model.
The other news. 4.7, there's still some debate about, is it going to come out in the standard September timeframe or not?
Probably not.
And if not, it's going to be August. They're actually going to push it up potentially. We'll know more after WWDC.
WWDC, which is in July?
June.
June. Okay.
So it's basically right around the same time as
E3.
Yeah. The other, however, piece of news is, will we see a 6S this year?
I think that would be a bad call on Apple's part.
Well, we are going to see the 6S this year.
Well, offside of the show, we talked about this.
We did. Now, and this is why, by the way, I say the naming conventions are probably going to change, because I don't think they're going to call it the 6S. And I don't think they're going to call it the 6 for that matter. I really do think you're going to see iPad Air and maybe iPad Mini, or excuse me, iPhone Air
and iPhone Mini.
iPhone Mini, or iPhone something else. Maybe iPhone Air and iPhone Mega. There's still the rumor about the iPad 12.9-inch platform, the iPad Pro. They're doing an iPad Pro this year potentially. The specs on it are 256 gigs and 12.9 inches. So we're talking massive.
It's a laptop.
It's a laptop, yeah. But the iPhone larger is slated to potentially, originally they thought maybe December. Now people are saying, believe it or not, even with production shortages, this might happen in October.
Wow. This October?
Yes. And that's the 5.5-inch screen. The biggest problem with the 5.5-inch screen, and this is the other side of that.
Yes.
The new Apple, the biggest set of rumors that's basically confirmed is a layer coating of sapphire.
The sapphire, which there's a huge issue with the shortage, right?
On the 5S, or the 5 and the 5S, they started putting sapphire coating on the camera lens to help it keep
which
from
is
scratching.
Awesome, by the way, because
Absolutely.
I scratched the crap out of my 4S lens.
Yeah, because it didn't take much. It really didn't. Now, what they're talking about is with the 5S's replacement, the 6S, the Air, whatever the hell they're going to call it, they come out this year, they're going to coat a thin layer of the screen. I have a feeling you're going to see some with and some without. And specifically, I think the 4.7 is not going to have a sapphire screen.
I don't think it will either. Do you think it'll be an upcharge?
I think it'll be an upcharge. You're going to go to 5.5 inches and a sapphire-coated screen. I think that's going to be those are going to be two of the differences.
That sounds horrible
those.
Because I don't know anyone out there in Commerce Land that would want a bigger iPhone that has a semi-indestructible screen by any means.
I know. I wouldn't want that at all.
That would be awful.
Yeah. So I think that's what you're going to see, and you're also going to see potentially. So here's my, and these aren't substantiated rumors, but here's a couple calls that I'm going to make. You're going to see a 5.5-inch sapphire coated screen with 128 gigs of memory in it.
Okay,
that's what I'm thinking.
Now, when you say memory, you mean hard drive space?
Yeah,
right?
hard drive space.
Okay.
Like right now, the biggest iPhone you can buy is 64 gigs. Yep. I think you're going to see a 128
I
with
agree
the 5.5-inch
They're going to double
screen.
it up because they recently just did that with the
They did it even with the iPad minis.
That's right.
I mean, my iPad mini, this is a 128 gig iPad mini.
So as they go up to the next generation, I guarantee that you're right.
Absolutely.
So now, mind you, we've called a lot of things on this show. We had a whole show called We Told You Show. And it's because we are absolutely, right now, so far, all in all, we've not missed the mark on any of the predictions
we've
made.
So now that you've jinxed the crap out of it,
I just screwed us really bad.
Apple's going to be like, oh yeah? Well, here's your 3-inch iPhone. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah. It's actually Will Ferrell's going to walk out on stage and be like, hello, this is Apple. Yeah. Here's your new phone. Apple the iTiny. The iTiny. I don't know what to call it.
I got the iSmall.
That's right.
It's so... But those are kind of my predictions. Those are some rumors. Here's a few other things. If you've been looking on the internet, you've probably seen a lot of mock-ups because a lot of these cases get leaked. People are using the specs and designs to create some mock-ups.
With that said, are you going to talk about the mock-up that was supposedly watertight or?
Yes. The iPhone 6 will not be watertight.
Nope. If anything, that's a prototype for a way farther along iPhone. And as far as I can tell by looking at the pictures, it's just a case. There's nothing inside of it.
Yes, there will be a life-proof case, just like there is now. Yes, there will be an OtterBox case, just like there is now. And probably somebody's, Bob's waterproof. By the way, don't buy Bob's waterproof case.
No. Life-proof or OtterBox or nothing.
And actually, for me, and I'm a huge OtterBox fan, I do like the Life-proof a little bit better.
They're thinner, but they have just as much protection. And personally, although I don't have a Life-proof or an OtterBox one, I use a Spigen on mine. It's a Spigen thin line, and it's even got a little thing on. I can do that. It's fine. You know?
Well, and
as long as I don't drop
stopped
it in the
using the big heavy cases too. And yes, mine's not waterproof like that. The biggest difference in your phone and my phone,
you have a clear back.
Well, I have a clear back because I like to see my gold iPhone.
Yeah.
I know, I'm a girl.
Lame.
But the biggest thing that's different is my screen protector. I use bubble-free only screen protectors.
And I actually have bubbles in mine. I have to get some bubble-free screen protectors.
I'm very, I can't.
He also doesn't use a matte screen protector, and I love matte screen protectors.
Now, it's not gloss, though. It's not, yes, it's not full matte like yours.
Yeah.
It's basically not polished, which means it doesn't reflect as much.
But it's still not like matte.
It's not matte. Now, the reason I don't use matte, although I may change because it's starting to annoy me a little bit, admittedly, you do lose a little quality resolution with the matte.
With that statement. You can just turn your brightness up.
You lose a little bit. But where you do win is in the car when the sun hits the phone. So I'm probably
pretty much anywhere when the sun hits the phone.
I'm probably going to have to make a change. I admit that. So... it's still better though than just a screen without anything. That you can't see at all in the sun.
So I guess that's the is that the Apple rumors?
That's pretty much. That's I was actually taking a look at my list. Believe it or not, I think that's it. Apple's big news. Two more quick things though. Apple OS X 10.9.3 dropped a few days ago. So if you haven't updated by now, please update.
It's awesome.
And iTunes 11.2 is out.
And if
you may not care about, except if you subscribe to, granted our podcasts aren't on iTunes yet, but if you do subscribe to podcasts on iTunes,
they've got a section developed there.
They've completely revamped the podcast bits in 11.2, and that's updated for both the Mac and the PC.
And if you're me, you're still using Apple iTunes 10 point something, because I never update that sucker.
Oh, I update it all the time. All the time. I'm always up to date. Ugh. So especially if you're on Mac OS, you want to make sure at least at 10.9.2 because you want to get through the whole Heartbleed thing that we talked about a few weeks ago. But 10.9.3, that's out. Yeah, it's out. There was a Logic Pro update that came out this week too. So a lot of updates for Macs.
Well, stick around. This is going to be actually a returning segment, especially after WWDC hits. We're going to have a ton of stuff to talk about, and you Apple nerds out there are definitely going to want to tune in and check it out.
And tomorrow is...
Pop Culture.
That's right. We'll see you Thursday for Pop Culture.
We out.